Well, welcome back to Hammer Away. We are here. It is Wednesday, and it's just after 4 o'clock. Sorry, I'm running a little behind. But, hey, I can hear you. Okay, so hold on, folks. Let me get this off of here. So, here's the news. You see this, it says postponed, unfortunately. So, this is my brother Marty. Marty is up Chicago way. What the heck was that?
That was an ambulance.
Oh my gosh. So
I'm at the Nakakami building in California.
Oh my God. Are they having the Christmas party?
They are. Yeah, I'm late. I'm trying to get into my I got a limousine waiting for me.
Just remember, run your toes through the carpet. There you go, man. Look at that.
I will. The quarterback is toast.
Die Hard, A Christmas Story. Don't tell me it's not a Christmas story.
It's not a Christmas story. It's just not. It's really not.
It's just stop trying to make it that way. Yeah,
it is a Christmas movie, though. It is a Christmas movie. It is
a Christmas movie.
That movie and Lethal Weapon are Christmas movies.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hi, everybody.
So this is my buddy Marty Craven. He is with the band called Rock Brigade, based on the song from the first Def Leppard record, On Through the Night. Back in, when was that? 1980? Was that 80?
80 or 81, I think.
81, I think actually it was 81.
Actually, it could have been 79, but I remember it came out our freshman year in high school. That
okay, well let's stick with 1980 then.
Yeah, because it was the spring of 1980. That's right.
Yeah, because you know Moser had that record. I didn't have that record.
Right.
That's where I heard it, and I mean it was, it's kind of weird because well, let me get this off of my off of the platter first. I know we were supposed to be talking with Keith Michaels today, but he gave me a message a little earlier and told me about some crazy stuff that's happening with staffing today, and he couldn't make it. So we're going to have to postpone and do this with him again at another time. But Marty gave me a call and we were chatting, and I'm like, dude, what? He's like, I got some time. I'm traveling. So I got some time, and I'm like, cool. Well, let's get you on and we can chat about stuff. Marty is like, well, hello.
I can't hold this the whole time because I'm driving, but.
Well, I know. That's why I was like, you need that you need to have a thing right there that you can.
Yeah, right in front of my face while I'm driving.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So Marty is like my oldest friend. Like we met when I was very young.
Longest known friend, not oldest friend. Your oldest friend is probably in his 70s or 80s, but.
Well, yeah, but I think about it as somebody who stays your friend all these years.
Right.
So like when we met and we still hang out and we jam together, and Marty's been in bands up in the Chicago area for decades now.
Since 1985. February of 85.
Dang. So what was your first band was with a classmate of ours.
Yes.
Right.
Kip Rhodes is his name.
Yep.
And it was a pop original band. Back in 1985, they needed a guitar player, and they asked me to, move from Morton to, possibly join in a band because they needed a lead guitar player, and they knew I was still, his dad always knew that. I mean, it's a really cool story. I mean, I love telling the story, but back in 1985 when they called me up, and his dad called me and asked me if I was still playing guitar. I'm like, well, yeah, and says, well, what are you doing now? I said, well, I was playing guitar, going to junior college, and let me see, playing guitar, junior college. I was working at a drugstore, Super X, and no, it's not a porno. It does sound like one though, doesn't it?
It really does, especially if it was
the porn shop.
Yeah, the only one in Morton.
Right. The, the adult films, adult store, you know, Super X.
If it was called Super Triple X, then yes, then we would be
Yeah.
wondering.
But it was a cool story. That's where I was working. You know, I was 19, and I said, yeah, I'm still playing guitar, still doing what I can, and just loving, you know, like rock is what I was into, of course.
Mhm.
You know, Van Halen, Rat, you know, any Dokken was really big at the time, and you know, and yeah, I was still playing, and he goes, well, listen, my son is so they're I was listening to them saying that they needed a lead guitar player, and they was always talking about how he was Kip was telling the band about me being in high school, about how I was like this beginning guitar player and didn't really have all the chops down. You know, I was like his freshman year of high school. You know, that he saw me play for the first time, and it's like, you know, I just played lead, you know, rhythm guitars and stuff like that, and just and REO Speedwagon and whatever it was, and then I just dove really deep into guitar playing, where I just not necessarily locked myself in my room, but I just played guitar all the time. I mean, anywhere I went, I was, you know, I
Right.
had the guitar on me, and you saw it as
Absolutely.
well.
Well,
And
yeah, if I
you know,
can interject, when we were hanging out during those years, Marty, I would end up working for St. Louis Music, who created the Crate amp, which Marty had one of those. So I'd
yes,
never seen anything like that. And when we were hanging out, I was like, oh, that's a cool looking amp. It looks like a crate. Then he was working on, this is what I always go back to, Green Grass and High Tides. You were working on that. And I mean, I know how it feels practicing myself now after all these years playing now. And you're like, damn it. you you be playing it, damn it. And I was like, yeah, I know you're gonna get it. So then here it was years later, I'd work for St. Louis Music and I'd end up working on that anniversary amp of that same make. It was so weird.
oh yeah,
So anyway, go ahead.
oh, where were we?
You were
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He was just talking about how much I play guitar, and then like a couple of years later, I mean, this was like back in high school. A couple of years later, I went
mm,
to go play with Kip, you know, and he invited me to come over to his house, and all of a sudden I just started ripping out on leads and playing fast and doing, and he just freaked out. You know, he's like, wow, you know, what have you been doing? You know, and I said, well, I just been playing, you know, practicing a lot of guitar, you know, trying to be the best I can, and inspired, and so he knew that about me, and you know, so that somebody said, well, would you like to, you know, talk to my son and see if, you know, if you'd still like to, you know, if you'd like to move, and, you know, if you'd like to check out this band and possibly move and have a new different career in music. So I went down that following, or excuse me, I came up, traveled up to the Chicagoland area that following weekend and listened to the band and listened to the songs that they were doing. They wrote a lot of originals, and they did a few covers, and you know, we were 19 years old. The rest of the band was like, you know, 18, 20 and stuff like that. So we're all pretty young and hungry for it, and so I liked what I heard, and I knew that I didn't really have much going on back at home. You
mhm.
know, the college thing was, it was just junior college, and I was just working at a store, and you know, you took off. You know, you took off to school, and some of my other friends were doing other things, and so I really didn't. You know, I wanted to do music, but here was an opportunity for me, so I said, you know, I'll move up. You know,
Mm.
and you know, and a week later, you know, I basically squared up on everything with my job and my friends and everybody else. I said, hey, I'm moving away. Less than, you know, 7 days later, I moved up, and it was a pretty quick decision. Um, but yeah, and then I started doing more original music at the time. It was more pop. You know, it wasn't as rock as what I like wanted to. But what they did
Mhm.
allow me to do was play a lot of, you know, rock solos in these
Mm.
pop songs, which was really popular at the time. I mean, really, I think the biggest one that really broke the ground was was when it's the sunset's going on, if you can see now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it
I'd say
was
it's like Eddie Van Halen in Beat It. You had
yeah,
uh,
that was really big, because it was like, wow, they're starting to bring out, big electric guitars in some of these pop songs. So that's what I was doing. I was kind of approaching a lot of their songs like that, but they were good songs. At the time, he just had great melody lines, great composition, and like synthesizer, whatever it was, but good harmonies and everything else. And so we did that. That was my beginning of my career in Chicagoland area, and I've been here ever since. Right now I live on the bottom end of Wisconsin, which I'm going to right now. But I've been in the Chicagoland area since 1985 and doing different bands,
wow.
and I think I gave up the original music part of the career was basically in 2003, I think it was. Is when I no longer worked with Kip and in his music and everything like that, because I did a lot. I did it as much as I possibly could, and the music changed, the music scene or the industry changed, and I'm it wasn't that I gave up on it, but I thought, if I'm going to make it, I would have made it early in the time of in my 20s or 30s, and it just changed. The whole industry changed of like, hey, let's make it, let's get a record deal, and then it came to, you had to prove that your numbers were big. They
Now,
didn't just hear a
when you
nice
guys,
song and they thought it looked good.
yeah.
So
So now back in that time frame, did you guys have recorded originals? Right?
yeah, we recorded a lot. We
Yeah.
went into studios, big studios. Let's say the biggest, some of the big sessions we did was like in 1986. That's when we went into a studio and we recorded with it was just basically, it wound up, the band was kind of like, everybody kind of shifted in different ways. We lost members. Then it became down to where it was just Kip and I, and we went into a studio and I had just played bass on some of these songs, and the engineer is like, says, "You're not a bass player." Says, but really, if you're given all this time and effort for the songs, says, I think we ought to have a true bass player in the song. So he goes, "Why don't I get a buddy of mine to come in?" And it's like, "Well, who's your buddy?" And he says, "Well, it's a bass player from Cheap Trick." And like, wow, so,
What?
so we knew the bass player, John Brandt. He knew John Brandt, so we paid him, for 2 songs. We paid him a certain amount of money, and he played. We showed him the composition and the outline of the song, and helped him guide him through the song. So he played on that, and then the next session we had, the next recording session we had, was another different bass player, and he was one of the guys who was on. It was a Grammy-winning song, "You Are My Shining Star," from the '70s, and it was like, it's like, wow, you played on this, and he brought in a fretless bass, and he played the fretless on the songs, and he was just such a solid player, just nailed it. And so we had other recording studios, or that we did other songs with, and other people interested, and we had agencies that were interested in us as well. Woody Herman's manager was interested in us, and Woody Herman was an old big band, or yeah, how should I say? Back in the '40s and '50s, Woody Herman was like I said, was in the big band era. So while he was still alive in 1986, he had a manager that was interested in us as well. So we gave it our shot as much as we could, but I'm not going to go into bashing anybody or the way things were, but it just wasn't meant to be at the time.
Been there, done that.
Yep. But it was fun.
That's cool.
Thing. But it gave me, it taught me a lot of lessons about proper ways of putting songs or putting songs together in solos, and making them not so much as I'm just go up there just blowing my wad and showing everything I can do. it
Yep.
taught me to make the solo part of the song, of trying to make it like the way Neil Sean approaches a solo, or even Edward Van
Mhm.
Halen, you know, about they
Yep.
make the solo part of the song and make it, you know, make it singable,
Yeah.
make it where people look forward to that part of the song, and
Yeah.
make it, you know, give it dynamics. So that was
Yeah.
big lesson to be learned.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, Marty, for decades. I never really put that together. And I had a friend of mine, we were in a band together for a while, and we did a gig up there in our hometown area. And we were watching this guitar player on stage, and he's doing what you're talking about. He's wanking on this solo, and he's like, well, I mean, yeah, that's good guitar playing, but it doesn't it doesn't suit the song. It's not melodic like the song. So
Right.
it doesn't fit. And I'm like, I never even thought about it. You think about songs like things that Eddie Van Halen did, then came along hits like Twisted Sister, We're Not Gonna Take It, where it's just totally melodic with a whammy bar, almost just like, the chorus,
Right.
and something as simple as that. But still, it takes you from point A to point C, where this nice melodic piece in the middle holds it together as point B. So I
Right.
never thought about it until he said that. Made complete sense to me as soon as he said it.
It's, you never, I mean, with the masses are asses, as they always say. You don't know how things are done until you actually get involved with
Mhm.
production, with anything, with
Mhm.
building a house, with, you know, with plans of, you know, blueprints of anything else. You don't realize what it really takes. And same
Mhm.
thing with music, same thing with performing. You know, with music, there's a lot to deal with it. You know, lights, sound engineers, uh,
Mhm.
post production, you know, managing a band, of booking shows, and how to book a show, and where to play,
Absolutely.
what to do. And so there's so many different things, you know, we've all learned. I've learned a boatload of stuff of since since 85. And it's, you know, it makes you
Yeah.
wiser, but it makes you, you know, you gain so much wisdom all the years, if you want to listen to people. And you have to
Mm.
listen to older people, listen to people who are doing it. And it's really changed a lot in the past 10 years, especially with the way you record, you know, using a
Yeah.
computer, the way you promote, the way you, nowadays, you know, everybody does, you know, does free promotion through Facebook or Instagram, you know. And
Right.
back in my time, it was doing mailing lists, and printing
Yes.
out, and going to printers, and you know, going to Kinko's and printing out posters, and then taking them to the gig, you know, like so many weeks beforehand, and stapling them up or taping them up or putting them on tables, and getting mailing list cards. And then you do that once every 2 months, where you print out mailing lists. You got to write,
Yes.
and you got to go into a computer, and you print out everybody's name and the labels, and put on there. And that's how people knew about your shows.
Yeah.
And but promotion is absolutely hardcore. It's
Yeah.
so priority to promoting your show, and
Mhm.
how you promote your show, when and where. um and it does, it just lets people know that, you know, we're serious about this is, you know.
Mhm.
um but, you know, and then that's a good thing about the band I'm in right now. There's always a lot of good promotion, and we have a lot of good promo videos as well. um
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this in here. Do you guys have a do you have a spot that's best to go to? Is there a website and a Facebook page, or just a Facebook page?
yeah, there's, I mean, but it's Rock Brigade. It's ROK,
Mhm.
and then BRIGADE. And we have a newer website. I don't, it take me a second to pull up the exact,
Oh,
you know,
yeah, no
logos
worries.
I need.
I can look it up too, yeah.
But it's, yeah, we have a newer website that's a lot more user friendly.
Okay.
There's tons of videos on YouTube, um, old ones, and, you know, stuff that we did, you know, 4 years ago, because the band is really, it's coming up to a 5-year anniversary of, you know,
Really?
the idea came up in 2018, and then 2000, it was December 1st of 2018 was our very first show. So
Wow.
that anniversary is coming up, and I don't think everybody knows that, but it's we've been working very hard at this. We came out with it's mostly Def Leppard, but
Mm-hmm.
I started telling the guys, I said, let's do other covers as well,
Sure.
because
Okay.
it's like you can eat at a restaurant and they only serve pizza, and it's like, well, after a while, you got to expand your menu.
Yeah. Mm.
There's ultimate tribute bands of just they only do that, and that's fine and dandy, but you're kind of limiting yourself, because we don't do the ultimate thing where we don't dress up like the
Mm.
guys in Def Leppard. We're not trying to look like them,
Gotcha.
and we just try to perfect the way we sound, and there's no tracks. We don't have any tracks. The only thing we do is just we play to a click. That's all we
Yes.
do
Right.
to keep the album
Mm-hmm.
tempo of what you originally heard the
Mm-hmm.
song, and instead of rushing the song by like 7 or 10 BPMs, Metallica. I've
what
never seen
what do you
Metallica, but every time I've ever seen Metallica, it's like, why do they play every song so fast?
Oh
But
man,
it's
I was just
you know
I don't have you seen Faster Pussycat come through there at all?
they
Um
were around. I think either Fasty Pussycat or L.A. Guns was one of the bands that was in the
okay.
area. I think somebody.
My my local buddy, Sam Colton, is the guitar player for them now. Is
Oh, okay.
well, one of the two. They also have a guy named Kieran, who's the other guitar player, and they just played here. But Sam, Sam is from St. Louis, and he
Okay.
and I used to jam when he was like 13 years old. He'd come, his
Wow.
parents would bring him out to the open jams, and we'd jam together. And one night, it's my favorite story about he and I jamming. We were down at the House of Rock, and we get up on stage, and I suggest "Tie Your Mother Down." And the guy who was running the jam, I
Good
said,
song.
"Well," he goes, "It is a great one. I love playing it." And he goes, "You gonna sing it?" I go, "No, I can't. I don't. I could if I could sing it, but I'd never performed it. I wouldn't get any of the words right, blah blah blah." So he goes, "All right." So he starts in, and it's like at least twice as fast. And I was like, what is going on here? So yeah, it gets crazy when especially when you're thinking of the dynamic of the song, but it was incredibly weird because I'd played it a lot at a regular gig, and we're like all about the timing. And when he cranked into that, I'm like, what are we doing right now? It's
Right.
it. You wonder if you're going to lose an arm. Just
It's true. You lose the
it is.
groove of people dance to it. People love to dance to a certain song because of the tempo and the groove of the
Yeah.
song. You have to keep the original groove of the song. Unless you're going to
Yes.
really own it and put a new shine to it. That's fine and dandy, but
Right.
you really do, as a musician to other up and coming musicians and anybody in
Mhm.
the scene, try to get the original groove. The song that basically you got to get the groove that makes you tap, makes you bob your head or tap your feet or
Yes.
shake your butt to the dance floor, and that's just part of it. And even the original bands
Absolutely.
that go out and do it sometimes, yeah, they change it up a little. You got to realize your fans like you because of what you originally put out. And
Right.
that's just that's just me, but it's just true.
Well, yeah.
It's just true. I mean, even
Yeah.
I played with Tesla. We opened up for Tesla years ago. This was in another band, and Tesla, they would play to a click because their drummer. I guess
Mm.
I'd heard something different about their drummer. Didn't have a really good meter. I'm not slamming the guy, but I mean,
Mm.
that's just what I heard. God,
Well,
there's a
yeah.
sunset out there.
Oh, that's
But
gorgeous.
all their songs were just dead on. They sounded, they were in the right tuning. They all played them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all the solos, everything, but all the tempos were perfect. So, and Def Leppard
Wow.
does the same thing. You know, they actually do that live.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen Tesla a couple of times, maybe a few times over the years. And yeah, I get it. Like, well, hi. Um, like Troy Lucetta, yeah, that could be that situation where, you know, great drummer, but just sometimes live, they just need that meter to keep them on track.
there's
It,
nothing
it
wrong with that.
doesn't make no, it doesn't make them a bad. I still need cheat sheets sometimes for
Yeah.
lyrics. I haven't been doing this for years. Well, I have been doing it for years, but not on a regular thing and I started late, so I really didn't have that. I didn't develop or haven't developed yet that how do I
Mhm.
remember how do I remember these frickin' lyrics? You know, how do they stick in my head? You know.
Oh,
But
it's
what
easy for the rest of the band. I can completely understand how a teleprompter is used for singers, because you know there's with guys in the band, we're just playing patterns that are repeated. We're going back and forth and doing
Mhm,
patterns. Lyrics are, you know, the storylines. They're like lyrics are like lines in a movie. You know,
mhm,
um, but yeah, I think lyrics are definitely needed for singers. I can understand it because you're trying to perform, you're trying to move
mhm,
around, you're trying to sing on key,
mhm,
and
mhm,
you got these lyrics because if somebody does something and you go totally blank. I don't remember the lyrics. I'm a big I'm a stickler for not knowing lyrics of songs. I'm the guitar player, but I have to sing backgrounds all the time. I don't know
mhm.
every really. I can listen to the Def Leppard songs. I can never understand them anyway.
Mhm.
No secret, but I kind of phonetically sing the parts. And the guys in the band, they know, but hey, I'm playing my guitar parts right. I'm trying to sing the guitar
Right,
part, I'm trying to sing the line, and nobody says anything. Nobody says anything in the crowd to me.
right,
Um,
right.
because you got six guys singing, and most likely you're just going to hear the line. You're not going to hear the pronunciation of that word. You're going to hear everybody else's pronunciation before mine. But as long as I got
Right.
the note right, so
Well,
that's not cheating.
it's
That's
like
just me. No.
yeah, I mean, I just wanna make sure that I get it right, and even then, I don't always get it right. I have to do certain things to make sure that I'm in the right spot. You know, I have to color code it, so I don't go, "Oh, wait, where was I now?" It's all
Yeah.
black, I can't okay, where was I? So,
Mhm.
it happened to me one night where I screwed up a lyric. I was only doing vocals that night, and whatever reason, I lost my place on the sheet, and I just the meter, I hadn't done uh, is it it's Learning to Fly? It's Foo Fighters,
Foo
Learn to
Fighters.
Fly. Yeah, Foo Fighters Learn to Fly, right? Is that what it is?
Learn to fly.
Learning to Fly is learning
Yeah.
to it
Yeah.
is Learning to Fly? Okay. So I'm in the midst of the song and I mess it up. Well, some guy, I find out from my drummer later, some guy in the back is like, "Man, he screwed that up. I can't believe he screwed that up." And I was just like, "Well, why doesn't I said, "I'm glad you waited to the end to tell me." However, at the same time, I would have loved to have invited this guy to come up and do it. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
you know, can you do it better? Well, yeah. Okay, good. Come on up. Do it. Don't mess it up. I would love to see that. Do it.
Right.
And if he didn't mess it up and he did a great job, thank you. I just want to make sure the people are getting it the way they want it. Whatever. But if you screw it up, you know, you better not screw it up. Otherwise, just go home. Shut up. Don't say anything. Because it's like,
Right.
unless you're willing to get up here and do it yourself and kill it,
Right.
just shut it. It's kind of like when Bruce Dickinson used to talk about Ozzy, right? That was a big point of contention.
Right.
Iron Maiden and Ozzy on Ozfest, and he's like going off about how Ozzy needs a teleprompter. I'm like, try living Ozzy's life and being in Ozzy's head. Do whatever you got to do to make sure the show gets out there. It's much better than running around and forgetting lyrics all the time and not being able to do it.
There's a lot of weight on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Every singer's shoulders, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
So I can. Yep. Yes, I sure can. But yeah, it's a lot. It's because, like you say, there's a lot of charisma, a lot of things that have to go out.
Sure. Give me a thumbs up if you can
here.
still hear me.
Yep. I can hear you. It's good. It's good. It's good. Hey, Patty, thank you very much. I appreciate all the happy birthdays. This is great. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I had a great day. It was awesome. Family is in town. And had some time to hang out and go out to dinner and have some cherry pie, which is my all-time favorite. I love cherry pie. While we're waiting to see how Marty's doing here, we'll see if he can get back in here. In the meantime, I will show you this is a little something that came, and I mentioned these ladies before, and I'm just going to open it up. I unpackaged it because it came with something else. But, and look at this. It's actually got one of the stickers on the top. So you see, I got me a Burning Witches CD, Dance with the Devil. It was, all right, I'm going to be cheap here. It's the least expensive of all of the CDs when you see it on Amazon. So there he is. Let's see if we can get him back in here. Hey, buddy. You good? You can hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Although it seems like I should be able to. Yeah, I can. Are you dicking with me right now?
Stuart?
Yes.
Hey there?
You just can't help it.
Big time.
Oh, is it? Okay. Because I'm like, you're moving your mouth and I can hear your car. I'm like, you're moving your mouth. I'm like, is he screwing with me right now?
That time I did. Yes, I did there. But
on my show. On my show. Oh, that's gorgeous. On my show live, you're dicking with me.
Yeah, live, yeah.
Live on the show, dicking with the host. I love it.
Can you imagine if they did that like on the news channels or something like that? Hey, Bob, I was going downtown at the accident right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Just kidding.
Is everything okay? I don't seem to be able to hear you. Why not? Oh, Bob, you're in big shit trouble now, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Tastes so good, makes a grown man cry. Oh,
there you go.
Oh, man. Oh, sweet cherry pie.
Oh, the most wonderful song they've ever recorded. Because
I know, but come on, dude. That wasn't the worst freaking song of all time. I mean, that was a great song.
I never said it was a bad song. No, but just Janie Lane thought it was a bad song. He hated it. Oh, of course they did. Because the album was supposed to be called Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Uncle Tom's Cabin, which, come on. I mean, that's a great song, but it's not your lead song.
No. They really, in a business sense, Cherry Pie was a smarter song to put out there. But I just knew that he hated it. And I've played the song so many times, you know, I couldn't stand playing it, but
why is it? Because
whatever makes people sing and dance.
Right. I mean, did you hate playing it because was there any of that stigma in there that you hated playing it?
Yeah.
Or was it just it got boring?
It got boring.
Okay.
Because I knew the band didn't like it, and it was just the lyrical content was just was
Yeah.
just nasty. It just was. I mean, I'd rather play something like Down Boys or anything off of their first album. You know, Dirt and Rotten. What is that name?
Rotten,
Dirty,
dirty,
Rotten,
filthy, stinking
Filthy.
rich.
Yeah,
You're
that one. I mean, there's some great songwriting on that album. Did I say? Oh, you
yeah.
said it wrong, didn't you? Dirty,
No,
Rotten,
you
still.
did.
Oh,
Rotten,
Rotten.
dirty,
It's
dirty,
it's
rotten,
just
filthy,
this
stinking
first
rich.
album. Yeah,
Dirty,
but
rotten,
there was some
filthy,
great
stinking
songs
rich.
there. But then I found out later on that their guitar players didn't write those solos or didn't play on the album, and I was kind of disappointed in that. So
Yeah.
but Janie Lane he was a great vocalist. I think the
Yeah.
compositions on the album were good. I didn't
Yeah.
care for the sound of the album. I thought the mix wasn't really that good. I think they could have changed up the guitar sounds, but
Yes. That first record. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But they made their mark. I met him actually twice. I met Janie Lane twice, and he was a nice fella. You could tell that he had a
Oh yeah.
alcohol problem, but like I said, he was a great singer. He came out and did with the keyboard player. They did Bohemian Rhapsody, and I was blown away at that. I've never seen anybody do that before. But yeah, they
Holy
were.
crap.
Oh yeah, just him and a keyboard player. He was that good of a singer. He could nail stuff so good, and but it's too bad. It's really too bad what happened. Him abusing alcohol, but he was a fantastic singer.
Yeah, he was a great talent and a nice guy. I don't know if I want to use it here. I will. I'll tell this story. You know my story about them, right? There was a Keishi, they were going to come to town. It was for one of their newer albums in the early 90s. And they were going to come to town. Keishi set up was going to be a softball game. And it was dry for weeks, like 3 weeks. And the day we were supposed to play, they had chosen me from my email to play in the game. The day it happens, boom. I mean, the heavens opened and there's rain like crazy. So we drive down the road and we end up going bowling. And I'm bowling with Janie Lane and couple of the other guys. And Jerry Dixon's brother was on the road with them. And so here we're bowling, and I bowled like shit. I mean, when I left home, I had like a 180 average. I couldn't even break 100 that day. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I must have been nervous or something. It was a great time.
Yeah.
I was nervous. I was with rock stars. It was nerve-wracking bowling with rock stars. Gosh, don't act like it's easy. Don't be a prick.
No, it's because you're not thinking about it too much. But
yeah, you are, man. Everything that happens, it's wrong. You're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Crimson Cross, what's up? Glad you made it. I hope you're enjoying our hang here with my buddy Marty. Do check out Rock Brigade. I've got their website out there. I also have their Facebook page out there. They're up in the Chicago area. Check out their schedule. And you guys, do you go to outside areas as well? Like outside of the area?
Yeah, we go outside of the Illinois area as well. Yeah, we play Michigan, we'll play Indiana, we played Pennsylvania, we played Nebraska, Ohio. We did, so we just did was it last month in October? We went to Pennsylvania and then stopped in and Michigan and did a big show over there too. And then
cool.
I think it was the week after. Then we went down to Champaign, Illinois, did a gig down there.
Oh,
and stuff like that. Yeah, so we've traveled around different areas. And actually next year in May, we're playing with the Atomic Punks at Palm Springs, California.
Wow, Palm Springs
at a casino. Frank Sinatra's town where Palm Springs. I know I've never been there before. I always wanted to visit but I doubt I'll have enough time to drive by Sinatra's house. But yeah, we're playing second at Punks, which is going to be really tough, you know. But
Do you need a roadie?
I guess the person who, I'm sorry,
Do you need a roadie?
I couldn't hear you.
Do you need a roadie?
I'm not sure if we're bringing anybody out. I mean, if you want to go out there, but I mean, you can go out there, you know, but
Yeah.
you have to pay for your flight. But it's but this will be our second time of playing with Atomic Punks. I've seen them many times. This is our second time of playing with them because we did
I've heard of
get.
them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're amazing, man. They're not the only Van Halen tribute band out there, but they're a damn good one.
No.
They're damn good. But they've been, you know, they've I think it's the same drummer. I think he's the one who runs the show. But yeah, this is gonna be a fun gig. So we have those coming up. So we get all around. But you know, how do we get them? Is because we've got really good promotional videos that we've, you know, that, and you know, with the way our bass player Bill Covert, the way he, you know, he promotes the band very well. The stuff is out there.
Cool.
With like I said, we have a lot of videos on YouTube and as well, like, you know, because there's some that are older. You know, you got to look at the dates. You know, we have different singer at one time, different drummer, and but yeah, it's a great band. It's a really lot of fun.
So I do. Speaking of Nebraska, do you know about the Midnight Devils?
I couldn't hear that.
Have you heard of the Midnight Devils?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, they've played over there in Chicago area too. Their drummer is in Chicago, and they're from Nebraska. Sam and Sniper are from Nebraska, but they played at the. I got to know about these guys because of the gig that I did up, the Rockin' Skull gig that I did up in our hometown. So, but it really fun, really fun band. So, they just got back from a UK tour. Let me see what happens here. Stashnet, my brother lives in Illinois, so maybe someday I can catch a show. Do you cover any Motley Crue?
No.
No?
Our singer doesn't like Motley Crue. No. We do the covers we do are either, you know, the other covers would be like Van Halen, Tesla, Queensryche. No, Whitesnake, Night Ranger, and can't think it. I know our other guitar player, he does a mean version of Stranglehold from Ted Nugent. White Lion, I do Wait.
Nice.
And yeah, maybe a Journey song, but yeah, there's a lot of. But yeah, we just added Queensryche, and it's a lot of fun, you know, because I wasn't a huge Queensryche fan before, but I liked them, but I just never really dove into them and played them. You know, it's not my style, but I really like it though.
Yeah, I love it, love it, love it. What are you doing by them?
By Queensryche?
Yeah.
I don't believe in love.
Oh God, I've been wanting to do that song. If I could just sing all that stuff, man, that's on my list. It would work for my band.
It's a good song. I got to go over it again, you know, because we have a show coming up on Saturday. But it's a Queensryche it's a lot of fun. I mean, you got to nail it. It's you know, it's a very you know, it's like a lot of Def Leppard as well, is that it's made in the studio, you know.
Yeah.
It's made in so that it's really developed in the studio. Of every part is just exact, you know. It's you know, it's not like your typical party rock like Van Halen or AC/DC or Rat or something like that. But the Queensryche is a lot of fun, and I did see him last year with Judas Priest.
Wow, what a show!
It was a free ticket for me. It's really sad how I got the tickets, but anyway, it was but yeah, I saw the Judas Priest of third row, and it was very short, huh?
That's crazy. Third row. Oop, I'm losing you again. I'm gonna lose him again. There you go. There you are. Now you're back.
So, but yeah, it was a great concert, but it was very short Queensryche show. They only play like a couple songs that I really knew because they didn't do excuse me, they didn't do anything really the big hits, but I think that was one of the ones that they played. And but I remember somebody threw a guitar pick towards my area, like almost like right by my head, and as soon as Queensryche was off the stage, I was just kind of looking around, and I looked down below and the seat in back of me, and I ended up getting one of the guitar picks from the guys, which was kind of cool. It's like, wow, I throw out guitar picks too, so.
Yeah, I love getting guitar. I just got a guitar pick from I just said his name earlier. Sam gave me one later after the show, but Kieran also gave me one. He threw one out and I got it the other night at the Faster Pussycat show. I have a question for you, but Stashnet ladies first. What's your favorite Def Leppard song to cover and why?
My favorite one is this you're just asking me this?
No,
I love
Stashnet. She's asking you.
I love Rock of Ages a lot. I think that one really, I think the crowd goes nuts over that one. But Photograph is really like one of my favorites to play because it holds dear to me in my heart. Because I remember when it first, we went to a high school party and that song was playing and everybody just was going nuts, and all the girls, the teenage girls were just singing along with the song, and it just brings back great memories,
Yeah.
So every time I start that song, I always flash back to that one party that was, it was really loud in the basement, and everybody was just having fun. But it just reminds me of when I was so young, and but I said Photograph is probably the one, but yeah, Rock of Ages is the other one that I like because I just I can get everybody, I can get everybody into the song and stuff like that. Love Bites is a lot of fun. We do a long guitar. We we have two songs in our show that we do battling guitar duels.
Yeah.
And I brought that into the band. Because I was always a fan of Rat, and Rat did that in the song Morning After in their first tour, where they would, right after the solo, even Robin Crosby would do one, and then Warren would go back and forth. And I'm like, I always thought that was cool. So I brought that into the band. I said, can we do this? And we do it at the end of Love Bites, where what's like a doom, doom, cha-da, boom, doom, cha-da, doom, doom. I'm like, that is such a cool groove. I'm like, why don't we just do some cool back and forth guitar solos? So that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I always go, of course, too long, like, because I love playing. But we also do ROCKIT.
Wanka.
Yeah, Wanka. I was just saying Wanka.
Wanka. Wanka.
Why not? Why not? But we also do it in ROCKIT too. And ROCKIT was.
Oh yeah.
ROCKIT's a cool song, but when they go into that middle section with all the samples and all that stuff, I'm like, I never cared for that. But I watched their live version of, Def Leppard doing a live version of it, and I think it was in the '90s or so, and Vivian Campbell and Phil, is that right? Can you?
Yep.
Yeah. They were going back and forth in guitar solos. I'm like, wow, why don't we do that? And so we do that whole section in there too, and it's a lot of fun, and it just breaks it up. It shows what we can do, but also it just we have fun with it, and then we add a little bit more, like a little bit of Whole Lot of Love into that song as well, and a little bit of Queen, and so it's like a really long version of a song from Def Leppard, and but it's some of these songs really hold dear to my heart, but yeah, I'd say Photograph is one just for that reason. In
how many songs do you guys do? Oh, well, okay, I've got like 4 things. I'm gonna have to write this down because I'm gonna forget. I'll tell you this story real quick. A student gets off the bus the other day, and starts walking out. I look at his shirt. He's got a Pyromania shirt on, brand new. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at it, I go, dude, nice shirt. I said, you know who that is? He goes, no. I was like, okay.
No.
I said, I saw that tour in 1983 and Quiet Riot opened and Uriah Heep opened. And I bought a t-shirt from all 3 bands. And he's like,
Really?
yeah. I go, where did you get it? And he goes, my mom bought it for me. I was like, okay. I'm like, all right. So then
Wow.
let me ask you this. What do you play off of High and Dry?
High and Dry. I'm not. I don't know all their albums and stuff like that. Let me see if I can
Mhm.
pull it up. If like the listings of it.
Oh
Well, we
yeah, it's
do
like
Let It Go.
you let it
Unless
go.
you,
Good.
yeah, Let It Go's up there. We do.
Bringing on the heartache.
Yeah, Bringing On a Heartache.
Yeah.
If you got them listed there, I know.
Me
Women
and
we
My
do, but I
Wine.
don't think. Which one?
Do you do Me and My Wine?
No,
Okay, that was
no.
the extra track that was added later. When they did it was like a remix, and then they added Me and My Wine. They did a video. It was on MTV. Let me see if I can find High and Dry. Uh,
High and Dry, right?
mm, yeah, High and Dry.
Okay.
Why can't I? Boy,
We
you'd
do
think it
well.
would come
Let's
up faster.
switch. Bringing On a
Oh
Heartbreak
yeah,
into Switch 65.
which
Mirror
I want to
Mirror.
do when we jam again. I want to do that song.
Which one?
Switch 625.
Yeah, that's real tough on the bass.
It's really.
Oh, well, actually, the
Wait,
song High and
wait, what are
Dry.
you trying to say? What are you trying
It's
to say?
it's one note.
No
One note
shit.
you do. Yeah,
Yeah,
boy.
but come on.
Better start practicing now. Um,
Oh, damn.
High and Dry,
Wait,
Saturday Night.
did I
It
ask you to
is
do this?
not yet. Not yet. Let it go. Mirror Mirror.
Let it go. Mirror,
Yeah.
mirror.
Yeah.
Lady
What's another?
Strange. On through the night. There's the title track to the first record on the second record.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
What's
docking.
what's the other one? Hysteria. Well, they got Hysteria and then Pyromania, right?
Right, right.
Pyromania songs. Okay.
Do you guys
I'll
do
say what it.
anything after? Do you do like Let's Get Rocked?
Yeah, yeah. That's the
Okay.
one I kind of brought to the band. They had no
Yeah.
idea. They're like, yeah, like let's do that. We open up with that one a lot. So,
Yeah. What
uh,
about Paper Sun's another good one too, man.
no, we try to stick to the hits, but we've dove
I
into
know.
like
I
well,
know.
Foolin', of course. Action Not Words was good.
Yeah, right.
We've done Rock Till You Drop, Too Late for
Mm,
Love, Stage Fright, Coming Under Fire. Coming Under Fire is a really lot of fun. I like that song a lot.
that is a
Um,
good song.
Die Hard to Hunter, but we did the whole Pyromania album once. We did it.
Wow.
We did the whole album one time. Like two different
Wow.
shows we did it. Um, but,
Shoot.
but we don't do a lot of the B-sides, like all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we've done a lot of the B-sides,
Hmm.
but not, we've probably had about 5 or 6 of the B-sides. And let me see
Do
if
you
I can.
guys do you
But
guys ever do Two Steps Behind?
we did it once.
Okay.
Once we did that at a party, and
Okay.
yeah, it was okay. You know,
Yeah, I mean it's one of those
did,
that you're
did,
like, well, you know.
yeah, it didn't really. It didn't. Nobody really cares. People are just wanting to. They just want to play. They just want to sing and dance. And but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'd say Hysteria. We do like Animal, Women, Pour Some Sugar.
Hmm.
We've done that once. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
no, that's a mandatory. We only did one time where we didn't do that song. That was kind of funny. How we did Hysteria, of course, Armageddon, Love Bites, Rocket. Um, but yeah, a lot of the, his Hysteria and Pyromania are just absolutely huge. Those songs are
Yes.
they're just
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you've watched the movie. Oh shoot, I lost him again. That's what was kind of interesting. I can talk about this, see if he pops back on here. I'm sure he will. His phone may have died actually too. I didn't think about that. So if you haven't seen the Hysteria movie, about Def Leppard, which was put out on, I think it was, hey man.
Sorry about that. I just got home. I just got home.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. I should let you get rolling then. But you saw the Hysteria movie, right?
Oh, what happened?
It was for VH1 Classic or whatever. They did that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I own it, and I liked the movie. I thought it was interesting. It's a interesting docudrama.
Anthony Michael Hall, is that right?
Yes, he played Mutt Lang, yeah.
Right.
And that movie makes it easy for me to believe what I was told by a recording artist about that record when he brought in Mike Slamer to play guitar. Because if you look at that film, they were a mess at that time. And Steve Clark was in no way, shape, or form in any shape to be recording or focusing on that.
Right.
So he brought in Mike Slamer, who was in City Boy. I've talked about this on the show before, but it's just something I always bring up because it's so crazy cool. Because of Mutt Lang's relationship with Mike Slamer. Now, Mike Slamer, I don't know if you know, Marty, Mike Slamer was in Streets. He was the guitar player in Streets with Steve Walsh.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. And just an amazing guitar player. And but he came in and did those sessions for that. There's one other thing before I let you get going. There's two last things I want you to talk about real quick, and then I'm going to have you back on the show. We got to talk some other kinds of music, and there's other questions I want to get into. But what is the coolest? And then I want you to leave us with a story that I love. What is the coolest pick you've ever caught at a concert?
Oh, at a concert?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the only one I've ever caught before.
Really?
I never really got close up to concerts to
Wow.
to catch a pick. But the recent pick that I just received was a pick that belonged to Chris Cornell.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I got an autographed poster and everything.
Holy crap.
Yeah, an autographed poster from him and a guitar pick. And he's not watching the show right now, but he's my singer. He's a huge Chris Cornell fan.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the only pick I've ever
that's
got.
Yeah, that's freaking crazy to me. I've
thrown out hundreds of picks, maybe thousands of picks before, but never really catch them by other guys,
Like I have yours right here. That's
the one I just gave you.
Yeah. Which are you going to order more? Because Black Friday.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I was supposed to do it last week, and I'm going to try to do it on Friday if I can.
Okay. I might have to have you give me that site again.
InTunePicks.com.
InTune Picks. Okay, InTunePicks.com. I'm putting that on here. So if anybody, I'm going to do promo for this show. So I was talking to Marty about it. InTunePicks.com.
They have a 35% sale this Friday. It's the biggest one of the year. It's the one I tell everybody to get. That's what I do for my band. I usually order them all. And then
because I thought about doing it, and then you were like, "Yeah, Black Friday's the best." I'm like, "God, Black Friday's that's so long away." Now here it is, 2 days away. So if you're thinking about doing that, it's a great thing. to check out. I'm going to be getting some myself for the show to use as promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, the last thing I want to do before I let you go, besides thanking you immensely for being here with us today, it's so awesome to have you here, is you were at one point in a Bon Jovi tribute band.
Yeah.
And how long did you do that?
That was from February of 03
Mm-hmm.
to about October of 2004. So it was
Okay.
basically about a year and a half.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a fun band to be in. There was a lot of brotherhood in that band. It was, I lost my drummer. He passed away 3 years ago, and he was the most amazing human being. And he,
Wow.
yeah, he's the one who he taught me so many life lessons of just getting out there and doing it. Says, you only have so much time in life, and play your heart out and do it as much as you possibly can. So that I use that
That's
philosophy,
cool.
but he's the one who always taught me to make a show of what you are and stuff like that. But the Bon Jovi band was, that was a lot of fun because at the time I never played Bon Jovi like that, and I loved playing it. Of course I did the Richie Sambora era or part,
Right.
and but we had two really big gigs in that band, and it was
Yeah, and one was in Texas, right?
yeah, the first one was, the first one in 2000. It was in Valentine's Day of 2004 was in Texas, and I'll get back to that one in a second, but because that was a
Okay.
little more climactic, I guess. But the other one was in July. They flew us over to Japan because
Whoa.
the United States, it was the first time they opened up the the port in Sasebo,
Mm.
Japan. That was the first time they opened up to the American public since 9/11. So they
Wow.
wanted to have a Bon Jovi band, come out there and play for them. So I had to get a passport and fly out, and they paid for everything, for all the flights, the hotels, and all that stuff. And then we got a paycheck on top of it, when I got back, and that was awesome to be able to get. I think it was like $600 I got for it, but to be able to play two shows out there in Japan and to be able to see that was a really cool.
Wow.
I was really tall. It was kind of funny walking around, and everybody, was wearing sunglasses, and then people came up to ask me for autographs, and I'm like, I'm just walking along in the shops in Japan. That was fun.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was wondering. I was wondering how much attention you got when you were doing that.
it was, when we walked around, because we had one free day to just walk around, and it
Mhm.
was pretty close to Hiroshima, and
Mm.
but it was really cool but you could, America was kind of like dominates in the language where there's always somebody that can speak, American,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
English, I should say. But the other gig I think was in 2004 was when John Bon Jovi got into the arena football. He bought he's the team, the Philadelphia Souls, into the Arena
Mm.
Football League, and so the Dallas Desperados wanted to welcome him into the league, so they said, let's get a Bon Jovi band to come down there and play. I'm like, I thought it was kind of like, okay, right, really, and let's have a bunch of imitators, come at you. So
Right.
they hired, and that was my first time of ever getting on a plane, So I'm like, wow, I'm gonna fly down to Dallas.
Really?
So yeah, all of our gear went by Tommy, the guy, my buddy who passed away, but he drove all the way down, and all of our gear. He drove all the way down there, and so we got to play in the arena, but it was a corner, like in the end zone corner, like
Mhm.
an upper area.
Mhm.
They set up on a big stage and all that stuff, and so I'm like, how many people are going to be here, and they're like, oh, it's probably like about 15-20,000 people. I'm like, oh my gosh, and so
Uh,
that was pretty cool. Just we got in there, loaded in, and it was just, I think we did sound check, and then we were talking, they were off in a room, and they go, "Hey, would you like to meet John?" I'm like, "Oh, he's here," and so he was in the middle of the field, of course, taking pictures of cheerleaders, and I think he had his children with him as well. There were 3 kids there, but yeah, so we all got to meet John like right in the middle of the field, and he was
Wow.
wearing a black shirt. I have pictures of him, and I got to meet him, and yeah, he was really down to earth guy, just really cool. But it was just weird. You're standing there like, wow, this is like one of the biggest rock stars in the world right now is this guy, and he's standing right next to me, and it was, and I got to make him laugh, because I knew when he was a kid, he when he was starting to learn guitar, he was learning the House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, and he didn't really he was just starting to play guitar, so he's I couldn't play the song, so he threw his guitar down the basement, and he did that. So
wow.
He was signing an autograph, and I was telling him like, "Yeah, John, I just want to let you know," I says, I learned House of the Rising Sun, and I learned it correctly, and I said, I didn't mess it up and throw my guitar down the basement like a real wuss guitar player would. And he just looked at me, just gave me this look, and started laughing, I said, "I'm just kidding," and I hit him on the shoulder, I'm like, just kidding, and he's solid as a rock, he's just awesome, and but then we got pictures with him, it was so funny because how many years ago was this? It's like close to 20 years, 19 years
20
ago.
years almost, yeah.
And I'm just, and I'm standing there, I'm like, I'm the one standing right next to him, shoulder to shoulder. And I kind of backed up, and, I'm looking at him, looking at his hair, looking at him, and I'm like, like I could smell his cologne. I'm like, wow, John actually smells good too, but it was just so funny. I'm sniffing him, and I just kept on looking at him like he's just, he's just a,
man.
he's just a star, and I'd think to myself, like, this guy has played in front of, thousands of people. He walks onto a stage and people just go nuts. And here he is standing right next to me, and he was just really nice guy, at the time, and he always is. He's always been, I think, pretty cordial to anybody who ever meets him. I mean, I know a friend of mine just met him at a wedding, but he's super nice guy. And then, but I think my favorite part of it was, we played before the football game, and then we played at halftime. Halftime was probably the coolest moment that I can say is that we're starting Living on a Prayer, and you got the keyboards, humming the chords, and and the C and the D and the E, and it goes down, and all of a sudden I'm hitting the talk box, and all of a sudden a huge spotlight on me, and I'm doing the talk box, and I'm looking around, I'm like, wow, there's 15,000 people looking at me. And then I look over, and he's like in the upper box, and he's leaning over looking at me, and I'm like, wow, of all the times I've seen him play on stage, and now he's looking at me, and I'm playing his song, and I'm just looking up at him, and I'm like, well, I better not mess this up, and did my part, and it was kind of cool because I'm like, okay, he's watching, so I better, move even more, so I was moving around and getting people into it, and because people are more on the side of us and around us and above us and stuff like that, so I had to have fun with it. But it was so fun because anytime you turned around and looked at anybody, they'd just go nuts, and so it was a lot of fun to be able to to play in front of him, and when you play in front of bigger people, it's always you think it's a great opportunity, it's cool, but it's you're just another band really to them,
right.
but it's cool. I mean, I played in front of Scottie Pippen one time when the Bulls were huge, back in the mid '90s, and it was like '94, and I knew the Bulls were there. So, but I looked over and he was playing pool, and it was in Chicago, and he was playing pool, and he stood there in between his turn, and he just kind of looked at me, and I'm like,
all right, Scotty, you're playing, but you're looking at my ass, like, yeah, check
Right.
this out, and so that was kind of cool. And, he was, to be able to see like 3 or 4 of the Bulls were there at the time. And that's where they hung out and played. And Jordan didn't show up. Uh, he doesn't really get out as much in the public, but that time he was just starting to get, Jordan was huge, and but my senior played pool with him once. He played a game of pool with him one time. And
Wow.
but stars are stars. They're just normal people. They just
right.
But it was fun playing in front of John. Like I said, they were in the 2004 they were still big, and so that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to be able to play with him and be able to meet him and shake his hand and get his autograph. And yeah, he was cool. But it was, like I said, he was at the time, I think I looked more like him, than my singer didn't really look like him. I looked like John more than he did. It was kind of funny. So I think he thought I was the lead singer, but it was, said he was just a nice guy. But like I said, he's solid as a rock. I said he was just when I hit him with the shoulder, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just hit this guy.
But the things we do, right? Sometimes we're like, oh my God. My friend tells me about his 5'10" wife. And when they met Queensryche, and Jeff came backstage and came walking up to him, and she'd had a couple of drinks, and she just pats him on the head and goes, "Oh, you're just a little guy, aren't you?" Jeff Tate, just a little guy.
Yeah. Just a little guy.
Oh my God. Oh man. Because the 2 things I always think about when you're talking about John Bunt, thank God he wasn't watching the day that I sat in with a band and played that same song, because I screwed up the bass intro 3 times.
Really?
And then I'm like, dude, keep going. I got it.
Yeah.
You just got to play it off. You can't sit there and go, oh, fuck, stupid. You can't be mad. You're just like, whoop, nope, that's not it. Keep going. Roll it. And then you try it again. Nope, still not it. That's when you start looking at the crowd going, nope, that wasn't it. Here we go. Let's try it again. And, and I finally got it right, and we went into the song. And I'm like, sorry about that. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can either, it's like I say, you can either do, if you're in a comedic skit, you can either do it right and people will be laughing with you, or you can do a crap job, be nervous as hell, and then everybody's just laughing at you.
Right.
So it's one of those things.
You can't show it on your face. The best thing to do is just to shrug it off, or do it twice. And then depending. I mean, if it's a cover song, but if you do it twice, then look at people and say, yeah,
Yep.
But
same
gentleman. You have to
right.
You have to recover well, and that's the right. thing of not embarrassing yourself. You have to recover well, and everybody's done it. Everybody. Doesn't matter. I've seen Edward Van Halen go on stage. He did the last time was that last time? Yeah, 2007, when they were playing Jump, and his guitar was out of tune. His guitar was out of tune, and then he popped a string or something like that. So. I've seen him mess up. I've seen Steve Vai mess up before, and I've it's funny. It's funny to see. I've seen Kiss restart the song "Love Gun" on the Cycle Circus tour, where they messed up the beginning, and then you just saw Gene just stop playing, and he's like, no, stop, and like that, and they were all laughing. And I've never seen Kiss on stage where they were all laughing at each other, and they were blaming, like, oh, it's Paul's fault or something like that. It was funny. Like, we're just going to start this song over again. And it was like so cool to see. Yeah. Because, they're human just like everybody else is. And it's funny to see that happen, especially for Kiss, because they're, it's such a production, but to see those guys laugh, it was just awesome,
Yeah, because it is amazing when you've worked the crap out of something and it goes south for whatever reason. And you're just like, whoa, what just happened? I've done that with songs that I've never screwed up, and all of a sudden I'm like, where am I? And then I'm like, damn it, I love that song. I've practiced that song. Why did I just screw that up? Never screwed it up until today. And
Yep. It
yeah.
happens. It happens.
It does. It does. It does. But yeah. Uh, but we'll have you back on the show again. I really appreciate you being here today to help me out. And we'll get Keith back. He was really sorry. He's like, man, you're gonna hate me for this. He messaged me, but so also look what I got, Marty. Battle Cry, Judas Priest.
Oh,
yes.
very cool.
It's been in my list for a while
Mhm.
on Amazon, and I finally said, screw it, just get it. I picked that up, and are you a Metallica fan, bud? Are you?
Not. I like playing their music, but I really don't. I can only stomach for so much of it. You know, I mean, I said I think they're a great band, but I like
It's not your
James Hetfield
style.
a lot, huh?
It's not your style.
Yeah, it's just not my style, but I love playing their music's fun. You know, it's like anything. I don't like listening, but as you get older, you know, things you do like or things you just okay, I've done enough of it. You know, it's like I can't watch Gilligan's Island anymore. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's like watching certain shows, even, you know. But
yeah, I
but
just watched the whole series not long ago.
Of it, Gilligan's Island.
Yep, I just watched all of it not long ago.
Did they have hemp on the show?
Who? What?
Hemp? Did you know? Did you know that's a really on the? Did you know when they on the rescue of Gilligan's Island? Remember they came back with that in the 80s?
Yeah.
Did you ever see? Now there's this one part that freaked me out. There's a really big weird history, but they were tying the boat together because the boat was almost like sinking. Then they go, "Oh, can you grab more hemp?" And they actually said it. They said hemp, like they grew hemp on the you know, they used it to tie the ropes. Yeah, they said the word hemp on there to use to tie the boats together.
Wild.
Yeah,
because I'm not so sure they didn't say that in the series.
probably not the series, but I know that Bob Denver got arrested for marijuana at one point too. You know,
oh man,
yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because the last surviving member is the one who hated being on the show. You know, Tina Louise hated that part. Yeah, Raquel Welch. They were going to ask Raquel Welch to do the part also, which I'm glad they didn't. But then again, she would have been, of course, I think she would have been more of eye candy than Tina Louise. But
oh god, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, Tina Louise, she did a great job. You know, I can't fault her for that.
I'm a Marianne person. I was always, I think more people were, but everybody's different, you know.
Yeah, that's like later on tonight. We'll be doing Go Game Go tonight, and Jeff is a Ginger guy, and I'm a Marianne guy.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, Marianne. Now look at this. Girl. Really enjoyed this. Stashnet says, such interesting and insightful conversation. You two gel great, she says. She says, please come back, Marty. Yeah, Marty and I we've got plenty of stories and things to talk about. And we'll do this again. It's just tough to get together sometimes. And hopefully one day we'll get to jam together again and play some music.
Well, let's think of a really cool, maybe ask some of your listeners, like certain topics. Like I said, there's always great topics to talk about. And you know, being in the industry or whatever it is it there's always, you know, you either talk about rock stars we've met or certain things we've done, but there's songs or there's their albums or there's you know, there's so many things to talk about. We could talk about movies. We could talk about anything, you know.
Tons. Yes, tons of that stuff. Yeah, because Marty and I are, you know, we're into that kind of stuff, and there's, like you just said it. There's so much to talk about. So we'll definitely do this again sometime. I really, really appreciate it. I know even Keith appreciates, you know, you coming on and working this out so that we'll get this settled. But for he and I, we'll get him on the show. So in the meantime, check out Tango Down.
What's the person who asked me about this said that we had
Stashnet.
Yeah. What was that person's name?
Yeah, she goes by Stashnet.
Oh, Stashnet. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So she's fantastic. There's some other folks that are usually in, like Miss So is usually here. We have a lot of fun chatting, and Saboteur is usually in here, and we've got some other regulars, but also a big thanks to everybody who showed up here, had some questions. I love the questions. I love them
yeah.
because that just it for me, and especially for me and Marty, that stuff is just like when you're crap. I can't do that right now. I haven't finished my oral surgery yet.
Oh,
We'll have
yeah.
to wait until the end of January for that for me. But man, it's exactly the same as when a crowd, as Marty was talking about, and as I thoroughly understand as well, when the crowd gives back, that's exactly what a question is like. When you guys throw a question out like that, it's like it's the same as that crowd coming in. You're like, oop, guess what? I got an answer for that, and it's I would love to answer that.
Well, they don't realize that our birthday. We've known each other since the early '70s, and that and we're close in our birthdays. My birthday was exactly a week ago today. It was a beautiful day here, and here your birthday was just yesterday as well. Happy birthday, Stuart! And
happy
so
birthday to you right here.
We're and it was so weird because I was listening in my car today to the Outlaws Playing to Win CD that you made me. And I've been listening to it.
Shut up.
Yeah, and it's produced by Mutt Lang, and I'm always listening to it and listening to what was so special, why I love that CD. And I bought the album years ago, and I said, and Mutt Lang was like weird. I'm playing in this band that he produced, and made huge hits out of. But but I hear the production, and it was really a lot of the Outlaws fans didn't really like that album a lot. But I was the first one I listened to, and I loved it, and I still love it to this day.
I love same thing.
Yeah.
So many great songs on that record. What a solid record it was. And you know what? That's the one last thing I'll mention about Def Leppard on that Hysteria movie.
Yeah.
That was the thing that hooked me to wanting to buy it, because when he gets that phone call, whether it really happened that way or not,
right?
But they have a phone call with Mutt Lang calling, and he talks to Joe Elliott in the movie. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And he's talking with Joe Elliott, and Joe goes, yeah, I'm familiar with your work. Like, you work with AC/DC and the Outlaws. And I'm like, whoa, you said the Outlaws.
Yeah.
I was like,
they said it. Yeah.
Right there. I'm like, what?
Wasn't that cool?
Who'd have chosen them to say that in the movie? They'd have been like, Outlaws. Don't say Outlaws. Nobody knows who the hell that is.
Yeah.
But I was like, ooh, good on you.
That was a good credibility. Yeah.
It was. I was just like, somebody like us was working on this movie.
Right. Well, there's some people that like the deep stuff, and they're like, I was watching the Stranger Things movie, or the Stranger Things show.
Yeah, the show. Yeah.
The show. I watched it with my daughter. We're done with season 3, so we're getting ready to watch season 4. But there's this one girl in the movie, and you think back, the movie is taking place in the 80s, and they said something about Steve's friend that he works with, if you ever saw the show, but
yes,
what's what were your favorite movies? And she goes, oh, The Apartment, and then this other one. I'm like, wow, she said The Apartment, Jack Lemmon movie. I'm like, nobody talks about that movie. That was so cool.
I know, right?
It's like that's one of my favorite movies.
It's crazy. So I'm dying to get a T-shirt from T Public, because it's a deep dive.
Yeah,
and it's like an alternate deep dive, though. See, because I just told Logan this. So it's got Kolchak, the Night Stalker, right? I love Kolchak, right? And I own it. I have it on DVD. But
the Night Stalker from the 70s? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the Dan Curtis show, right?
Yeah.
So
Wait. What was the character's name on that? He was the one who was in that the Christmas Story movie, wasn't he?
yes, Kolchak. Well, what's the actor's name? Was Darren McGavin.
Yeah. I used to watch
Yeah.
that Night Stalker show also. Yeah. I used to love that show.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I've got it all on DVD over there, and I've seen it. But what a lot of people don't know is that the predecessor to that is a made-for-television movie by Dan Curtis called The Norliss Tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So in The Norliss Tapes, Angie Dickinson, her husband dies, and before he died, he went and saw this voodoo woman, right? And she gave him this ring. So he wears this ring, and then he comes alive at night after he's dead, right? He comes to life at night, kills somebody, mixes their blood with this clay, and he was a sculptor in real when he was alive. He was a
Yeah.
sculptor. So he comes back in death with this bloody clay, and he builds this demon that he will eventually, when he's finished, perform this rite, and then it will come to life, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be like a Satan creature. So it shows up, and it comes to life, and there's the place is in fire. And on this t-shirt, it's got Kolchak in the front, and then this demon on fire behind it. And I'm like, ooh,
That's
you're
kind of
bringing
cool.
the Norliss tapes, which was the predecessor to that. You're bringing that into this t-shirt. I'm like, I love it. So the two separate things together in one shirt. I had to get it. I'm like,
That's
I'm
cool.
such a geek. This is where I push my glasses up. That's my. Oh, did you know that? I bet you didn't know that.
You know what I want to do is I want to get a monkeys. I want to get the monkeys,
Go ahead.
the red logo on a black T-shirt is what I want to get. That's
Oh,
my
hell
not
yeah.
a white one, but a black one. That's
Okay.
my thing. I want to get it like a V-neck, but a black shirt with a bright red logo on it. I would love to get that. Headquarters was my favorite album. So.
Oh, really? Headquarters.
Well, because that was
Very
the only
good.
one that they ever wrote. We are going on and on. I got 26%
Oh.
on my phone.
Oh.
But Headquarters, that was if you want to know something about the Headquarters, that was the only album that they wrote the music on. They said we want to do something where we write it, and so they did that and they released it, but then they did it in '67 when they released it, and what happened? They got slaughtered by the Beatles, because the Beatles just released Sgt. Pepper at the same time. So, but they got sales, but then people, and then that everybody was watching out for that one. But I don't know. I just love Headquarters. That was one of my favorite. I wish I could have met him.
Yeah. Well, I did actually meet. I met and shook hands with Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz here in St. Louis at the Comic-Con. They were here and they were doing something different that year, where it was like another teeth shot for everybody. Anyway, so they were doing this thing where they had these satellite tables. So they would have their booth, but then they'd have these satellite tables. I don't know what the deal was, because I walked on through and I talked to Kevin Conroy, who was the voice of Batman, who died a couple of years ago. He was the guy who voiced the Batman in the animated series.
Oh,
and
good voice.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I got to meet him, and then right around the corner was Mickey Dolenz, and Peter Tork was there. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" It was crazy. Well, I was going to see if I have that right here, because I know somebody gave me some vinyl of the Monkees. Let me see what I got. Oh, look, on vinyl.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
I also have it on CD, and then of course, I love this first album.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember you had that one.
That was a mainstay. I mean, we've had this since I think it's an original copy. But yeah, I love that. So yeah, see, plenty of things to talk about. So we can definitely do this again. And then we'll come up with some stuff. I'll work on some ideas, and we'll just have you come back whenever you can. So,
Okay.
All right. Well, good.
That's cool.
Thank you again, brother, man. I love you to death.
Love
You
you
know
too.
that. And
that was fun.
and then, yeah, what a blast. Who'd have thunk? Who'd have thunk? Well, I guess I would have, because I pull shit out of my ass all the time. That's just the way it goes. Well, I think we all do, don't we? At some point.
Yes. Everybody does.
Very stinky. Reminds me of Steel Panther. Ooh, stinky. 17 girls in a row. Yeah. Oh, so anyway, doesn't get much better than that. Oh, good Lord. All right. We will see you guys. Thank you again for hanging out, having questions. We love it. And then next week, I'll be talking with hopefully Hell's Addiction next week from the UK. So keep your eyes open for that. I'm also going to be getting with Sam Colton again in the meantime. And also Sam Spade from Midnight Devils is going to join me again for a post UK tour show. So we'll be talking about that. And my fave, says Stashnet, was the Raz about that bass line being hard. Yeah, thanks, Marty. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, start working on it now.
Well, what's the note? Is it an A or is it
It's a G?
It's a G.
I think it's a G. Yeah. There's like a couple notes, but I mean it's pretty simple too. But
well, you just got to be able to play the rhythm is really what it's about on that.
Yeah.
You know, don't be a crappy rhythm guy. That's really what it comes down to.
But we do that song. It's we don't do it every show, but it's fun when it does come up though. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely gonna have to do it when we do it at a gig.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Marty, have a great Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Wow, all right. Everybody, it's time to watch Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Oh.
That's so bad. It's such a bad not my vocal work there, but that show. It's really wow.
Well, to all the Joe Biden fans out there, happy Easter. That's what he would say.
Well,
hey, there's
however, whatever you're going to celebrate, enjoy it.
That's right.
I know we will. I know.
Yes.
I know we will.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Marty. We'll talk to you soon. Hang tight, and I'll hang with you a second here.